And I wonder why she sleeps with my friends. Hi, everyone. I'm Anthony Tano here, the internet's busiest music nerd. I hope you are doing well. I hope you're happy. I hope you're fine. I hope you're healthy. Well, I know some people who aren't happy. That would be many a Coachella goer. The legendary California Music Festival happened this past weekend. Many who were there, and also those who were not there, were enjoying the festivities, as many of them, music-wise, were broadcast over live stream. Lots of cool clips and performances were shown over the weekend, but there was one, obviously one in particular, that many people across the internet, across the world, were looking forward to seeing. That would be the Frank Ocean headlining performance on Sunday last night. Many were very much looking forward to this performance because, from what I understand, it's been about 6 years since Frank has hit the stage, and it's been even longer since the release of a new album. The fans want to know when a new album's coming out. The fans want to know when a new album's coming out. The fans want to know when a new album's coming out. The fans want to know where to. I'm like my cousin on stage that weekend, Mr. Mark Rebier. We are not the same person. Stop showing me this man. I know that we both have dashing good looks. I don't need to be reminded. Anyway, a lot of listeners, including myself, presumed that the reason this performance was happening is that we may in fact be getting a Frank Ocean album this year. Why would he be coming out to do such a big performance on such a big stage, at such a big festival, if he did not have something to promote? However, in the midst of this set, Frank Ocean did give us some insight as to why he was performing this weekend and shed some light on some very touching and nostalgic memories that he had around his late brother going to Coachella with him and enjoying the performances with him, which is obviously very personal and touching for Frank to share. However, I only saw this or heard about this through clips and phone recordings of the show, and why that is, here's the kicker. So yeah, this live stream performance that everybody was anticipating from Coachella this weekend from Frank, that got canceled. However, again, there seemed to be many a phone, including one brave woman who was shooting the whole thing in 4K. Shout out to her and everybody else who captured this thing in whatever way they could. But yeah, obviously Frank Ocean taking his performance off the stream for many was pretty disappointing. But what seems to have been even more disappointing was the actual performance itself for the people who were there. Because some of the clips and some of the accounts of the performance from the fans, from the concert goers, have not really been all that flattering. Not exactly the level of performance you come to expect from one of the biggest names and most successful names in the mainstream, one of the most beloved artists of this era, frankly. There's also been some interesting footage that some fans, I guess, are taking issue with of him performing the song White Ferrari with some analog synth sequences and a backing beat that feels like something out of an LCD sound system song. Not that that's a bad thing, and as far as the problems people have had with the set, I feel like that one ranks pretty low, like coming through with a creative reinterpretation of one of your own songs. I feel like that's kind of the potential appeal of seeing a live set anyway. There are some clips of Frank Ocean actually singing and performing his tracks too, but which ones got performed all the way through, which ones actually got performed to whatever degree seemed kind of choppy and inconsistent, at least from what I'm able to gather. Because while platforms like Complex have released what is seemingly a full set list from the performance, from what I understand, Frank didn't actually end up singing a lot of these songs, and many of them just ended up being kind of DJ'd, which also there's rumored to have been like a bit of I guess like a rave interlude in the midst of the whole set as well. There's a really amazing little bit of a security guard throwing ass to what seems like that passage of the whole thing. One fan's account of the performance on TikTok is actually pretty scathing, saying that he was 1.5 hours late for the whole thing. Lots of gaps of silence, constantly bringing people on, but they're not even really participating in the music itself. The stage setup didn't really present all that much to the audience visually, and it looks like a lot of people who were actually there for this ended up being pretty disappointed in what they actually were given in terms of a performance. So with taking all this in and getting an idea of what happened, I guess I'll say two things. One, what did you expect honestly. Frank Ocean is historically one of the weirder, dodgier, more elusive artists in the music industry, like really of all time. If Frank Ocean got on that stage that night and just like directly gave fans banger after banger after banger, no interruption, all the stops are getting pulled out, it's fireworks, it's just total pandemonium, that truly would have been the surprise of that evening. But he's Frank Ocean. He's not freaking Neil Diamond. He's not getting on stage to just sort of like hammer out the hits. He's not getting on there to go, Sweet Caroline, ba, ba, ba. Frank Ocean being kind of standoffish and not presenting himself in a very kind of clear or concrete way, that's just really kind of a very Frank Ocean thing to do, including, I think, having this live stream not go down. Because again, that would make it easier for people to kind of like make sense of or interpret or see some kind of like clarity of his actions or performance or whatever. And Frank is always doing whatever he can to sort of just hang in the shadows, which in a way I do have to admire, because we live in very overexposed and saturated times. It seems like your average artist out there is doing everything and anything they can to kind of just like stay at the forefront of people's minds and just like grab their attention, engage. And Frank just can't fucking be bothered. He doesn't give a shit. And again, this is not new behavior. This is how he has been for a long time. And the idea that was going to change with this Coachella performance, I think is a naive one. But here's part two. Here's the other thing that I wanted to say, because Frank Ocean has put on good performances in the past. While I do admire and I do like his approach when it comes to dealing with labels and promoters and the media in mainstream entertainment, I like his kind of just ability to keep everything at arm's length. However, I feel like that behavior shouldn't go so far to the point where you are robbing the fans of a very well-deserved experience, honestly. Making people wait 6 years to see like a big headline spot that you kind of rob from them, not only via taking away the live stream, but also by way of just kind of being lazy and being unengaged, just aimlessly wandering through your own songs or having them DJ'd by somebody else, whatever the hell it is, just like farting your way through a performance. That just kind of seems like dickish behavior. So again, while in one breath I do see this as a very Frank Ocean kind of thing to do, he is also kind of flipping the bird a little bit to the people who have made him such a sensation that he's on that stage in the first place. I mean, I'll say this, Frank Ocean has made some great records over the years, ones that I've loved, but nobody's time or fame in the music industry is guaranteed. And I would hate to see Frank's future potential squashed by, I guess, just a lack of interest or passion or drive. Because I do think his talent and his position right now affords him a lot of potential in terms of being able to change things or make another groundbreaking record, really kind of terraform the musical landscape a little bit current day. Maybe there's something else to add here in terms of like the current day standards of performances and live shows, because truth be told, some of the stuff Frank was doing on that stage didn't look too different from some random afternoon set from an awful artist at Rolling Loud, where you're just there kind of like vibing to your own music, just being blasted out into the crowd. Some comparison could be drawn there, but it's pretty clear in this instance, like the audience that was there and is kind of catching the aftermath of all of this is not really having what Frank offered that evening, and just generally thought it was kind of disappointing and reflective of a pretty strong lack of effort and care and interest on his part. There's also been some recent reporting saying that Frank Ocean may have sustained an ankle injury before the performance. But if it was serious, that should have only really affected his movement around the stage, not whether or not he could perform the songs. Cue picture of Dave Grohl in a cast. So, yeah, those are my thoughts. Let me know yours down in the comments on this Frank Ocean Coachella set. You're the best. Over here next to my head is another video you can check out. Hit that up or the link to subscribe to the channel. Anthony Fantano, Frank Ocean, forever.